finally have some sun after like a week straight of pouring rain. Have some soggy ponies waiting for dinner. Milo's upsetty because he's being perceived by Mesa. This is all their meals. Harlow gets the big one. And then the Mustangs and Gala get teeny tiny ones. And they have snackos today. And Mr. Pogue is dirty, so is Bonks, but they're all nice and naked today. Milo is like, I'm obviously starving to death. I'm doing my stress starvation mouth. He's had that habit ever since I got him because he wasn't loved or fed as a child, right? Don't be stressed. You're gonna get fed soon. And this is why abuse during the transitional early periods of their life where they're learning and growing lots is more sticking with them. Field number 1 is fed. I tried giving the Mustangs some apple and carrot today. They don't usually eat it, but maybe they'll taste it now. All of these horses are on a forage-based diet. They just get soaked alfalfa and beet pulp with their Mad Barn supplements. And as you can see, they're clearly very, very skinny. That is sarcasm. And that is Mount Baker in the background. Isn't that so beautiful? Wow. Harlow is perhaps my more impressive feat for being on a forage-only diet because she is a hard keeper as far as horses go. Why are you in the muddiest part of your paddock that I fenced off for a reason, most of it? But yeah, she's on forage only and she looks great. And it's also really beneficial for horses that tend to have ulcer issues, which, I mean, as an ex-race horse and a horse who used to be perpetually stressed, she does. They do sometimes get like handfuls of really low calorie, low sugar grains like that's in there just as a snack, but it's not enough to actually maintain their diet. So like the crux of their diet is from hay, free choice, and then the soaked alfalfa, soaked beet pulp, and then their supplements. This is their partially built shelter. And this is Miss Phoebe. She's lost 7 pounds. And she still looks thick right now. She has so much extra skin. She always has since being a puppy. I joke that she's a piece of gum because she has so much extra skin. But she's doing really well after surgery. Other than she still sits funny because of her hip dysplasia. But she's doing so much better. Right, Phoebe? She's walking now. Still probably needs to get the other leg done. So please pray for me because she already has one $5,000 leg. And by the end of 2024, she's probably gonna have 2, unfortunately for me. But luckily for me, I value my animals, but don't lick me with your dirty mouth. I value my animals more than eating. But yeah, the vet that she went to wouldn't do a bilateral TPLO, so she had to get them done one at a time. So she's gotten the right hind done, and then she's gonna probably get the left done sometime in the new year. Once I can save up some money, I know, money. Yeah, I could have gotten you a doggy penthouse for the price of your legs. You know that? A doggy penthouse. Yeah, I know, right? She says, if you guys want to help me buy new legs, you can shop at Milestone Equestrian or sign up for Patreon because I have expensive legs. I'm really not good at doing Vlogmas because I get busy and I forget to vlog. And also the weather in the Pacific Northwest in the winter is just wet, which is honestly worse than snow. I'd be more likely to spend time outside in the snow than just standing in the soggy rain. But I'll try to do some. Definitely not going to be daily, but we'll try to do miniature update vlogs. This is the man himself. Milo's like, I gotta make sure every little crumb that everyone has is gone. So I must check all of them, and I gotta bully my friends to do it. Milo, you're so good at making mean faces. So I had people asking about my track system. I put down these big rocks in high traffic areas, and they've actually been working super well to help them with self-trimming. They're starting to get absorbed more into the ground now that it's been so wet, but it's holding up pretty good. So yeah, they walk over this every day to get their water because their water is there. They have regular water, they have salt water, and then they also have a salt block elsewhere. They like drinking it out of the water the best. And then I'm gonna set them up some flavored waters like turmeric flavor and some other ones. Oh, Pogo, you're dirty. He's like, that nail gun scared me. So yeah, they have this high traffic area, works really nicely for self-trimming, and it's also been toughening up their soles, walking over it. And then we didn't have enough rock to spread in time before it got really wet. So these areas get quite muddy, but they don't really spend a lot of time on there. We put some rock around their little hay feeder over here, which this has gotten absorbed into the ground some of the worst because they like to just stand here and shit on it. And it's, yeah, so it's like, it was really deep here, so it's still better, not great. They need more rock to get put down there. And then this part of the field is fenced off right now to just rest the grass and let it grow. They have a creek down there. So yeah, this is just like fertilizer, like just stuff that we dug out of the field when we were putting footing down and then threw in here. And it's gonna get spread later. This part is all fenced off right now, so they have this part of the field which appears to have a tree fallen on it, so we're gonna have to fix the fencing before they go back out here. But yeah, they have the creek down here is seasonal, so in the summertime it dries up, but they can go down here into the creek. They like to scratch their bums on some of these trees, and they can go play in the creek if they want. They really like rolling in here, and it stays like several degrees cooler in here in the summertime, which they really like. But yeah, we had a bunch of trees fall down, so a ton of this fencing needs to get fixed now because there's a bunch of down trees. That's Milo staring at me right now. Hi, buddy. Wow, good job, Pete. Awesome. Look at you go. So yeah, we have several different hay feeders, and it also helps them not destroy the ground and make it as muddy. Look at the size difference between Juniper and Banksy and Bogo. Milo's like, I'm gonna follow you. Hi, baby. No, instead I'm gonna just be a dick to Banksy. I'm gonna pick on the smallest one. I love June because she just pins her ears at him and like isn't bothered, but she's like tiny. So this area is like our sacrifice fields. They just chew up all the ground, and then once it's a little more dry, they get pulled off of this and they go on the perimeter, and then we rest this and let the grass grow back here, which has worked pretty well because they fertilize it pretty nicely. This is their other hay feeder I bought, and I'm gonna put roofing on it, and then we're just gonna toss hay nets in there. That's their little self-grooming station. And then that's just another shelter. We're gonna end up putting walls, or at least like 2 walls on there. They eat their straw, so we bed it with straw, but it looks like it's not bedded because they, for whatever reason, they like the straw better than their nice, fancy teff and alfalfa and Timothy local grass mix hay, which is really annoying because it's more expensive. It also means that I have to bed their shelters like freaking constantly because they're always eating it. But with that said, it's safe to feed straw for like up to 30 to 40% of their diet, so they're fine because they're eating far below that, and it's like a really nice clean straw. So the track system has a perimeter track. Like this, we took posts out to make them a big gap to get in here, but usually there's a perimeter track that goes around here. So once we fence them off from here, it'll be like a square, and then they can go around the perimeter, and then the perimeter goes into there during the nicer weather. And then this center part of the field is also completely fenced off from them because it tends to hold a lot of water, so they don't have access to there. And then there's a perimeter track that goes all the way around the center field that goes like all the way over here, over to there, and then up the sides. They're also fenced off from this side with the burn piles because it also gets pretty wet. And then there's another perimeter that they're fenced off from, so they kind of have access to like the quarter line of a perimeter, so it's almost like a spiral system because the very perimeter of the field gets too wet, so we have to not let them have access to the complete perimeter. Like even here it's getting kind of wet because they come through here a lot. Like you can tell which paths are their favorite, but honestly this is pretty good with how much rain we have. Like, reminder to people who aren't used to rain, I literally live in a rainforest. So for whatever reason, they like coming through this maze part with all the sticks better than here, but then they transfer over to that pathway. Like you can see the paths that they like to take. Anywho, this part is fenced off because it gets really floody and wet, but this is the track that they use the most. This is a little foot trimming station that I set up. A lot of them like to jump it. You can tell where their favorite part to go through that is. Like they have all of their paths that they like to take frequently. So yeah, this part of the track goes all the way up to the front where that other shelter is and where their other hay hut is. So they also have more hay up there. And then it goes a little bit over to the side here up by the blueberry fields, but then they're fenced off from the middle. So they have like this track all the way down to here and then into the center field, which is where they spend most of their time right now. They really like it down there. They literally don't use their shelters much at all, which is super annoying to me, to be honest, because one, I spent a lot of money on their shelters, and two, I want them to be like cozy and warm, but like, I mean, when you give them the distinct choice to do whatever they want and they do that, it's pretty clear that that's what they want to do. So yeah, in here it stays pretty dry. Like you can see it's chewed up and muddy, but it's not like laden with water in the same way as like areas like that or like right through that center area. So it stays pretty good. This is the perk of like a track system, because then we can rotate them on and off of areas when they get really gnarly, or just like fence them off of areas. So it helps. And then also like naturally they chew up the ground and they kind of fertilize the ground, and then you can use it to continue regrowing pasture. There's my border Athena looking very clean. So yeah, this is where they spend most of their time. They also like going up front and eating from the hay feed. They kind of walk back and forth. They like coming back and forth to get water and stuff because they have their preferred water buckets, which is good. So it makes them move a lot more. And then this little shelter is just a hay feeder, and they have it double netted because they're hay wizards, and usually they eat out of 1-inch holes, but these are 1.5-inch hole nets, so they're double netted to make it a little harder. Honestly, the funny thing is, like, a lot of times they choose hi Poco, they choose to eat out of the harder nets. Like even when you feed them loose hay, they'll go and eat out of the net. But yeah, they're all friends. Got the 2 Mustangs that are pretty much invisible when they're standing beside big boys. The other thing I really like about having horses out together like this on the switch space is that they naturally get like comfortable being away from each other, and then they aren't as herd bound, because like sometimes one horse will be all the way up at the front while the rest of them are down here, or they'll like split off. She's eating around all of her apples. She says I saved the best for last. This is my super awesome shelter that ripped recently because of the wind. So we have to re-tarp it, but right now we're just suffering. So yeah, we have to re-tarp it, but unfortunately we just have to tough it out right now because the horses' shelter and their food, etc. is more important than spending money on our convenience. So the field Harlow, Gala, and my border Lennox are in, I recently started renting, like just this past, I think, August or September. So we haven't built a track or anything yet, but it's on a hill, so it stays way drier other than right at the front of the fence line. So eventually I'm going to do a track and put in more rock and stuff, but Phoebe's surgery has set that back because it was expensive, right? Gala says, I am baby. They're like, we are going to fight over you. Resource guardian. I am frightened by horses. She's actually more lame on her non-surgical leg now, which, don't do that. He's following me, get him away. But yeah, so they also have a seasonal creek. Well, it's the same one, but seasonal creek, theirs dries out less quickly than mine. And then I've started the top of the track there just to fence off the back part, and then it'll eventually be a perimeter track. But yeah, right now they just basically have full access to the field other than the super muddy part I fenced off. And Harlow's looking really good. Harlow lost a ton of weight last year. Also, this is not poop, it's just like straw that went into the mud because I haven't put mats down yet because this just finished getting built. You guys are blocking Harlow from being seen. Harlow lost a bunch of weight last year and wasn't doing as well, but she's doing really well now. We thought she had kidney disease, but she ended up being fine. You guys also ate most of your straw. What the heck? So yeah, I'm planning on gonna do more with her eventually. And then this shelter is gonna get fixed and we're gonna put, or get finished, and then we're gonna put mats down, and then their straw won't absorb into the ground as much. Yeah. She says I'm a muddy girl. She's looking really good now. The reason why she's out with the babies is because 1, she's the nicest to them, and 2, she actually can eat her food. babies, because she can actually eat her food without them stealing it. She gets her food stolen really quickly. Gala, stop mean mugging Lennox. She can actually eat her food without them stealing it, because when she's out with my boys, she just lets whoever wants her food take it. Hi ponies. So yeah, anyways, that's a little update on the farm. There's a lot of little jobs that I just need to finish that I've kind of gotten postponed because of the stuff with Phoebe's leg that I need to finish. And then I also want to build like a couple of more hay feeders and stuff. I've been getting stuff for like free or really cheap, like pallets and stuff to build with, because it actually makes it far easier to build. And then obviously free wood is always good. Lots of little odd jobs to try to make this place nicer for the horses. And then hopefully by like next spring I can get down a lot of the footing and stuff that I want down to make it really good and sustainable in the winter, so that they don't have much mud at all in front of the gates. But once it gets really soggy, I can't even like drive my truck down here without getting it either stuck or completely destroying the footing by putting huge trenches in the ground. So once it gets wet, we're limited on how much work we can do, because otherwise like bringing any type of machinery in just destroys the ground. So yeah, that's kind of the goal. I want to do more hoof trimming stations in both fields, some more self-grooming stations, a couple more hay feeders. Oh my god, Phoebe. A couple more hay feeders, but some stuff is just put on the back burner while we focus on rehabbing Phoebe and getting her surgeries. She's going to start swimming lessons soon, I think. Like, she knows how to swim, but she's going to do hydrotherapy for her leg. So yeah, that's a cute little update on the farm and a little walkthrough of the track system. This is the other part of the track that they're currently roped off from, because there's a lot of grass there, so they don't get access to this through the winter, because they literally just poke holes in the ground, and then when it does dry, they literally just have leg-sized holes in the ground, which is not good. So yeah, they get the hillier parts of the track to try to naturally drain all the water into the lower down parts. And you know, it's not perfect, but it works. And when you don't own property, you kind of are limited into what extent you can change it. Like, I mean, I could put thousands of dollars into the footing here and my landlord would let me, but then I have to be careful, because if I want to save to eventually buy my own property, where if I put money into it, it's actually owned by me, I have to not spend a ton of money outfitting a property that I won't live on long term forever with all of the stuff that I want to have eventually. So that's kind of the trade-off. It's not perfect, it's muddier than what I would like, but they can get out of the mud. They have lots of different footings to walk across. They have shelter, they have free choice food, they have friends, so they have what they need even if it's not perfect. This is their other hay hut area, and then they also have hanging nets that they can eat too. So yeah, technically it's December 12th today, but whenever I post this, I guess it's gonna be Vlogmas day 1, because I haven't posted anything for vlogging in December. So I'm just gonna post vlogs whenever I feel like it, because it's less stressful for me. I've been kind of MIA because I've been doing online courses and trying to finish my certificate right now. So I just completed my equine functional anatomy course, and pretty excited about that. So I have one more course credit to go until I'm done my certificate, and I'm intending to do that next semester, and then I'll be all done other than doing supplementary education as needed. And also, if I do decide to eventually go and get like a bachelor's or a master's, but right now it's the cost of it that's prohibitive to me, because I can learn and study a lot of different stuff that I would be learning in those types of course programs, but I can't just lay out like 10 grand to go to school right now, especially if the end goal is to be able to buy a farm to work out of. But yeah, thank you everyone who supports me and my work and my brand, because if I ever am able to afford a farm in this economy, it'll be because of you. Right now that's a big if, because I feel like people in my age range are constantly being outpaced by the cost of living, and it is very frustrating. But if it happens, it'll be thanks to all of you guys. So thank you for supporting my videos by liking, commenting, and sharing. Thank you for supporting my store by shopping. Thank you for supporting me on Patreon. Instagram, TikTok, wherever. I appreciate it because that's the only way I'm gonna ever be able to actually do what my eventual goal is. And hopefully 2024 will be nicer to me with not throwing $10,000 injuries at me and other unfortunate traumatic situations pertaining to myself, because this year has been a year